Howdy Internet, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made use of this useless space behind the laundry room door. For this project, I'm going to use nothing but wood that I have laying around in my garage. I've been meaning to do something with all that wood. And since wood is so expensive right now, this is a perfect time to do it. For this shelf, I want the shelf to be hidden behind the door. I just needed to cut 4 pieces for the frame and a bunch of shelves. Pretty easy project. The depth of the shelves will be 5.5 inches deep. 5.5 inches should be more than enough to store a lot of miscellaneous items, and still have enough room for the door to be fully opened. I had just enough 5/8 inch plywood to cut the frame and a couple of shelves. This is what happens when you don't have a table saw or proper workbenches. Oh well. A good buddy of mine gave me this pallet that he didn't need. I'm going to use a couple of these pallet pieces for shelves. Some of these wood pieces are pretty rough, but I ain't too worried. This shelf is going to be hidden anyway. These pieces need to be cut to 5.5 inches as well. And you guessed it, these pallet pieces are 5 3/4 inch. Since I don't have a table saw, I attach 2 scrap pieces to the material and then clamp it to the table to make this cut. I love this track saw, smooth as butter. I needed to find a thin piece of scrap plywood for the shelf supports, and I think I just found it. To make sure all the shelf support bracket pieces were the same size, I set up a quick jig on my miter saw station. This footage is not sped up, it's just how fast I work. Just kidding. With all the pieces finally cut, I can start on the build. I clamped a right angle gauge to make sure my frame was square. I used a countersink bit and drilled pilot holes before I screwed in the screws. I simply repeated the process for all 4 corners. Frame build complete. Now it's time to put in the shelves. I used the same procedure. Countersink bit, pilot hole, and then the screws. Here I'm cutting a couple of 1x2s. These will be used as support pieces to secure the frame to the wall. Now would be a good time to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks always for your support. Since the pallet pieces were too thin for screws, I used the thin plywood that I cut for support pieces. I'm going to give the shelves a little bit more support by securing them with brad nails. I think I just wanted to use the nail gun, because it's so fun. I gave the piece a quick sand with some 80 grit sandpaper. I'm not too worried if it's a little rougher on the edges. It's going to be hidden anyway. I didn't want the piece to be just raw wood, so I painted it with some semi-gloss white. Installation was a piece of cake. I'm just going to secure it directly onto the trim of the door. If I ever need to remove it, I can just fill the holes of the trim with some putty and paint over it. It's a lot less work than having to remove the trim. And finally, drilling the frame into the studs of the wall. I'm not planning to put anything too heavy on these shelves, so a couple of screws should be more than enough. All that work trying to make a straight cut with my track saw, and my walls are not even plumb. Hi, thanks for watching. I hope this inspires you to find those hidden storage spaces around your house. I know I have a few more that I want to do. I'm Eddie, and I'll see you on the next video.